Have you ever seen a plant that can do it all? Carpet, bush, mid-ground filler, background in a nano tank, and still look incredible doing it. That's pearlweed, one of the most flexible, underrated, and beginner-friendly plants in the entire aquarium hobby. And in this video, we're going over everything. How to grow it, how to trim it, what it needs, what can go wrong, and how to make it thrive. Whether you're just getting started or looking for a plant that can tie your scape together, this guide is for you. Let's get into it. Pearlweed, also known by its scientific name Hemianthus micranthemoides, is a stem plant with teeny round leaves in a lush, bright green color. It was originally found in the US, but over time it's become a global staple for aquascapers who love its adaptability. And what makes it so special, what really sets it apart, is the fact that you can control how it grows. Give it strong light and regular trimming, it'll hug the substrate and form a dense, vibrant carpet. Let it grow upward with moderate light, it'll shoot up into a soft, bushy mid-ground plant. Want to wrap it around driftwood? It'll try. Want it creeping between rocks? It'll make it happen. Pearlweed isn't just a plant, it's a tool. A living tool that fills whatever role you need it to. And if you're into aquascaping, or even just like watching your tank evolve, this plant gives you total creative freedom. Now, let's talk about why so many people fall in love with this plant. First, it's fast growing. Really fast. As in, trim it on a Sunday and you'll see new growth by Thursday. That makes it ideal for cycling tanks, competing with algae, or just filling out a scape quickly. Second, it's easy. Like, surprisingly easy. Even if you don't run CO2, pearlweed can still grow. Not as dense or compact, but definitely alive and still beautiful. Give it a decent light source and some nutrients, and it will reward you with lush, active growth. Third, it's a safe haven. Fish fry and shrimp love this stuff. The dense cover helps them hide, explore, and graze on biofilm. If you're breeding or keeping a shrimp colony, this plant earns its keep. And fourth, it's satisfying. This is the kind of plant that responds to attention. When you trim it, shape it, replant the cuttings, you're not just maintaining it, you're sculpting your tank. And trust me, watching it grow back thicker every time is its own kind of therapy. Now, planting and propagating pearlweed is super straightforward. You usually get it in bunches, or maybe as in vitro cups. If it's a bunch, trim off any rotting ends, and then plant each stem individually about ½ an inch apart. You don't want to plant them too close or they'll block each other from the light. Once they're rooted, they'll start throwing out new growth within a few days, especially if the conditions are good. And here's the fun part. Every time you trim the tops, you can replant them. Each trimmed cutting becomes a new plant. That's how you create a carpet. Trim, replant, trim, replant. Over time, it gets thicker, fuller, and more even. And if you're going for that perfect Gulf green style carpet, that repetition is key. Okay, so let's talk care. What this plant actually needs to thrive. Pearlweed prefers medium to high light. If you're going with low light, it'll still grow, but it will stretch upwards and look more leggy. If you want it to stay short and dense, go with strong lighting and keep it trimmed. CO2 helps a lot. It's not mandatory, but with CO2 injection, you'll see tighter growth, faster spread, and way fewer problems. Nutrients matter too. This is a fast grower, which means it eats a lot. Water column fertilizers are essential. Root tabs can help, but water dosing is more important here. As for the substrate, it's flexible. Pearlweed will grow in sand, gravel, aquasoil, pretty much anything, as long as nutrients are available. And when it comes to water parameters, it's not picky. pH between 6.0 and 7.5, with temperatures from the low 70s to 80s in the Fahrenheit. It's super adaptable. And that's for perfect conditions, not what it will tolerate. Now, let's dive into some of the other little details that make pearlweed so interesting. For one, it adapts to tank size. Whether you're in a nano tank or a massive 90-gallon, pearlweed can work. In smaller tanks, it'll stay compact and form a beautiful carpet. In larger tanks, you can let it grow taller as a bushy mid-ground plant. It's the kind of plant that adjusts to your space. If you're planting pearlweed with other plants, it plays really well with a variety of species. Slow growers like Anubias, Crypts, or Buce make perfect companions because pearlweed's rapid growth won't outcompete them. Pair it with mosses or taller plants and you'll get the perfect layered look in your scape. Another thing, it helps with algae control. Fast-growing plants like pearlweed can shade out light-hungry algae, giving your other plants a fighting chance. If you're dealing with algae problems, filling in those blank spaces with pearlweed can make a big difference. And if you're wondering about seasonal growth, pearlweed can shift its appearance depending on environmental factors. In the warmer months, it might grow more aggressively if conditions are ideal. In the colder months, it might slow down its growth, especially if your tank is kept cooler. Have you ever seen pearlweed purling? When it's really happy and thriving under the right conditions, it'll release oxygen bubbles, sometimes by the hundreds. It's a clear sign that the plant is photosynthesizing well and shows that your tank is in a healthy balance. If you're really paying attention to pearlweed, you'll notice subtle color changes as well. While it's typically a bright green, it can sometimes develop red or brownish hues, especially under higher light or when the plant is under stress. It's not common, but it can be a cool feature if you want some variety in your tank. Now let's talk about trimming, because trimming is everything with this plant. Let it grow wild and it'll get tall, maybe even spindly, but trim it regularly, once a week or once every 2 weeks, and it will get dense. Think of trimming like training. Every cut tells the plant to grow more shoots equals more leaves equal a fuller look. And don't throw away the trimmings, replant them. That's how you fill in the thin spots and build that uniform carpet look. Also, avoid letting the bottom layers get too shaded. If light can't reach the lower leaves, the plant will melt from the base upwards. That's why regular trims are so important. Alright, so what can go wrong? Let's troubleshoot a few common issues. If your pearlweed is melting, it's usually due to shock, either from poor water quality, sudden lighting changes, or being freshly planted. Give it time, keep things stable, and it'll usually bounce back. If the leaves are turning yellow or translucent, that's a nutrient deficiency. Time to dose those macros. If it's growing tall and stringy with big gaps between leaves, that's a light issue. It needs more intensity or more trimming or both. Fix the root cause. And pearlweed is pretty forgiving. It'll bounce back fast. Now for the fun part. How to use this plant in your aquascape. Pearlweed as a carpet is probably the most popular use. Tight, short, and glowing green. It looks incredible up front. In the midground, it works as a bushy filler around rocks or driftwood, and often softens the hardscape and adds movement. In nano tanks, it makes a perfect background because of its small leaf size and fine texture. It scales well. It never overpowers the layout. You can even let it grow vertically behind a mound or slope to create depth in the scape. Pair it with mosses, nubius, or buce for contrast. Mix it with rocks to create that natural style overgrowth look. And if you keep shrimp, this stuff is a shrimp jungle gym. Constant grazing, hiding, exploring. It's a whole world in there. So is pearlweed the perfect plant? Maybe not, but it's close. It grows fast, adapts to your layout, plays well with livestock, and looks great when you take the time to shape it. It's rewarding, it's forgiving, and it makes your tank feel alive. If you've been thinking about trying it, go for it. Whether you're scaping your dream tank or just looking to experiment, pearlweed will give you something to work with. Thank you for watching, and if this guide helped you out, consider hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who's building their planted tank. And as always, stay planted, and I'll see you guys in the next video.